Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Hope you guys had a wonderful holiday, wonderful Christmas, wonderful Hanukkah, wonderful Kwanzaa. This is New Year's Eve today, so Happy New Year's. Hope you guys are out here. If you guys go out tonight, please be safe. So Happy New Year. I'm going to say it ahead of time. This is your girl, The Brilliant Beauty, your host of One Brilliant Beauty channel, vlog on YouTube. Your host, and you're going to see me go back and forth because I have my computer today. And so I have a couple of things up at one time. Also your host of, obviously, like I said, the One Brilliant Beauty YouTube channel. Also your host of the podcast, The Brilliant Beauty Speaks, available on not one, not two, not three, but a total of 10 platforms, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Anchor as well. Can't forget Anchor. I posted my vlogs today, so I'm also your author of the book Not Cut Out for Love, Part 1 in the 3-part series, which the Part 2 and 3 will be released in 2019. I will get into that later. I'm also the author of The Other Side, a poetry book that I released this year, and the co-author of What Really Goes On Next Door, another book that was released this year. So, I need you guys first, before we begin, to subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn on your notifications, and we will begin now. So, topic 1, fasting with a purpose. The last episode, the last time we talking about fasting with a purpose. So, my purpose was for my fast was to rebuild my relationship with God, reconnect with God, and also to have certain things made clear to me. There were 7 things that I wanted to be made clear to me, and they were trust. And when I mean trust, I mean trusting in others, trusting in God, trusting in myself. Love was the second one. And it was love for God, love for myself, love for others. Internal strength was the third one. The fourth one was faith. The fifth one was patience. The sixth one was self-worth. And the seventh one was purpose. Now, throughout my fast, I did I had 31 days of devotionals throughout this, and it wasn't just like one devotional a day. Sometimes it was just one, sometimes it was 2, sometimes it was like 3 or 4 a day. But all of these devotionals was based around those topics of love, loving others, loving myself, loving God, trust, belief and faith, patience, purpose, self-worth, internal strength. So my devotional topics were based around those things. And I have realized finally through my fast journey, I have rebuilt my relationship with God. I'm going to continue to work on my relationship with God. I've reconnected with God. I feel His presence all around, something that I did not feel when I very first started this. Almost felt like I didn't believe in God at the point when I first started this. And that's why I wanted to do this fast and do these devotionals and pray and talk to God so I can rebuild my relationship with God and refocus myself and my relationship with God. And I have done that throughout this fast. And that was the main purpose of my fast. And throughout all of this, I've realized things about myself. I've realized how to fully love myself now, how to understand my value. I realized I have to be true to myself. I have to be 100 with myself. I have to be completely honest with myself, and I have to self-reflect on myself. It is a must for me to be completely honest and self-reflect on myself in order for me to be able to truly and fully, wholeheartedly love myself and value myself. And I'm looking over there because I have notes. Meditation is something that I need to continue to work on because I found that throughout this fast, when I did meditate, I felt so much more at peace. I felt more calm. I felt more at peace, like I said. And I'm so grateful for this fast because it showed me so much stuff. It revealed to me about my internal strength, my faith, my patience, my purpose, trust, everything. It revealed so much to me. I broke it down in my podcast. So check out my podcast to get the full breakdown of what this fast has done for me. And at the end of this fast this year, I'm getting rid of all of the negative people and negative energy and feelings. I'm leaving all of that behind me. I've given all of that to God. I'm not going to deal with that anymore. There's certain couple things I got to work on tonight before the end of the year. And I'm going to do that when I get done with this vlog. I'm not going to hide behind my feelings anymore, any of that stuff. But my podcast breaks all of that down. It's a really long podcast, about 43-minute podcast, talking about all of that. So you can watch my podcast if you want to get more information about that. And I'm putting my lack of self-worth and self-love to an end as well. Now to the next topic, my review of 2018 in a nutshell. My 2018 in a nutshell. So I published 3 books. Not Cut Out for Love, Part 1. The Other Side. Not Cut Out for Love is a fictional narrative book that I released. I discussed that book last week in great detail. So check out my vlog from last week, as well as my podcast. I discussed it in great detail. The Other Side was a poetry book that I had no intention on releasing, but I did, and I'm happy I did. And What Really Goes On Next Door is a book that I co-wrote with another author. It's like a mini novel, a short novel that I wrote with another indie author. My career path changed. I'm still trying to figure out what it is, but it changed. Right now, I am enjoying being a creative. It's something that I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to do it. And then it kind of forced itself upon me to be a creative. And I'm kind of enjoying it. I rebuilt my relationship with God, and I will continue to work on it. I stepped out of my comfort zone in so many ways. I wrote a letter in 2017 about my truth, about the things that I went through, stuff that I held in, stuff that I went through, that I didn't give it to any, I didn't give it into anyone until 2018. And I'm happy that I gave it to the people. I wrote down a list of people who I felt like needed to know my truth. People who had opened up to me throughout life in the past and through the present. People who I felt was important in my life. I gave that to them. I was completely open, completely vulnerable, and I let my guard down completely, and I gave that letter to those people. Another way that I stepped out of my comfort zone was through my podcast. Anybody that knows me knows I'm extremely introverted. I keep to myself. I'm not very social on social media, which is something I've been working on as well in 2018, being more social on social media, especially with me being an indie author, having to really put myself out there and promote myself and my book and stuff like that. And so like I said, my podcast was a way for me to do that as well. So I'm putting myself out there with my podcast, with my vlog, my blog, and me becoming an author, a published author. So those are some things that I did and I got out of my comfort zone. I really did. Got out of my comfort zone in ways that I never imagined myself getting out of ways. I never imagined myself revealing my truth to people, any of that stuff. But I did, and I'm happy that I did. For 2019, there will be more books to come. There's the details about it in my podcast, the list of books that are going to come and around about the dates and time rooms are going to come out. So go check out my podcast for that. I will continue to continue my relationship with God. I'll continue to grow as a person. I broke those down as well. So go check out my podcast. I hope you all have a wonderful new year. Thank you all for following me on my journey of fasting with a purpose. This is the last episode of this topic. Going forward, I will not be posting every single week. With my vlog, I will be posting every 2 weeks because I want to bring a higher quality, bring a higher quality to my vlog. I will be including guests. I'm working on figuring out how I'm going to do this vlog going forward. If I'm going to just record my podcasts that I do, just give people a visual for those podcasts, or if I'm going to do something else. But in a couple weeks, join me to see what I have going on. Again, this is your girl, The Brilliant Beauty, your host of the Brilliant Beauty Speaks podcast, host of this YouTube channel, the One Brilliant Beauty YouTube channel, your author of Not Cut Out for Love, The Other Side, and co-author of What Really Goes On Next Door, and the blogger on my website. But yeah, check all of my stuff out. Thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate it. This video, I'll try not to make it too long because I know the last couple weeks my vlog's been kind of long, even with my breakdown, my ugly cries. Share my vlog, share my podcast, share my blog. The information for all that is below. My podcast is available on 10 platforms, including Anchor, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So go check out my blog, my episodes. There's 6 of them available. Next week, I will be posting every week on my podcast. Next week will be how my podcast will be going forward. I'll have a special guest on my podcast next week joining me. But yeah, thank you all so much. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful new year. I hope you guys do everything that you want to do if it's in God's plan. But again, thank you all again. Happy New Year. Please be safe out there if you go out. Bye.